My name is Blair Williams. I'm with the Cumberland County Historical Society, and I'm here today with Mickey Collins.
That's awesome.
Mickey, could you tell me how long you've been a volunteer here at the Historical Society?
I celebrated my third anniversary on August the 13th of 2016.
Great. And what made you interested in volunteering here?
Well, prior to me coming here, I was working as an educator and developer with the Army Heritage and Education Center, which is right down the road at the War College. I had started with them at groundbreaking of the facility and had that job, which was a paying position, for 8 years prior to losing it because I was part-time and seasonal under the Obama budget cuts. I was kind of floundering around, and a friend of mine who was business manager at the Salvation Army, an Irish lass named Maureen Marr, had suggested I go back into nursing. But after 35 years as a critical care nurse in inner city hospitals in Baltimore, that wasn't an option anymore. So she suggested I come over here. So I thought, great, because I'd walked in here and I was quite impressed. And I called for an appointment and met with our curator and assistant curator. And I think we all knew within 5 minutes it was going to be a good deal. So since that time, I have pretty much exclusively worked for the museum staff, Peggy, Rachel, and Mary.
Could you describe some of what you do?
Well, I started off basically doing research in the library, for projects that the museum was putting together. And then one day, Rachel asked me to do a window to history, which is, we have 8 of them, changing exhibits. And I thought, okay, and so I decided to do it on the Cumberland Garden, which is Spanish-American War period. And anything they did not have, I had in my collection, so it turned out to be a pretty nice window. And the next thing she asked me to do was totally redo our military section. And I did, everybody liked that, and since then I've primarily do exhibits, research for major projects such as the 60s, the one I'm sitting in the middle of right now. And I help Mary March, our collections manager, with inventory, identification, and that sort of thing.
During your time in the museum, or working in the museum, have you come across any interesting artifacts?
Yes, we were given the task, Mary was given the task, and I'm kind of like her sidekick, of finding 10 items within 10,000 plus in our collections for conservation. And we went through, and a Civil War drum caught my eye. And I noticed the calf's head skin on top of the drum was peeled back, and I took a pen light and I could read in there that it was a Voight contract drum from 1864, made in Philadelphia. I think they only made 1,000 of them. Might be 10,000, I'm not sure at this point. Well, I did research and found similar drums of the same contract, same maker, on display in the Smithsonian and in the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and they're musical instruments. And so that became our foremost, to get conserved and restored and put back together again. It took a little over a year, but we got it back and it looks fantastic. And right now it's downstairs, as you know, in our lobby on display. The second item, when I was redoing the military case, I got into our World War I collections and found a pretty rare World War I Army nurses walking out uniform. And it's a beautiful blue wool broadcloth, and it's all tailor-made. She was a young, slim lady. Her name was Edith Rathburn, and she worked out at Hospital 31, which was the old Carlisle Indian Industrial School that they, changed into Army Medical School and hospital barracks. So, as I was moving her uniform about and I was placing it on the mannequin, this thing's quite a complicated clothing item to put on. It has hooks, it eyes, snaps, buttons. It's like you need 10 people to help you get dressed. But I noticed a lot of the buttons and the hooks and eyes and so forth, and there were some minor areas that needed some attention. And Rachel, knowing that I restore antique military uniforms, do a lot of hand sewing, said, okay, and I showed her I had the proper thread of the period, you know, I mean, it was the same thing they would have used. And so one afternoon I sat in the office while they're on their computers and played seamstress to this uniform, and it just thrilled me to death.
Well, do you have any other interesting stories? From your
Here,
time?
this whole place is one big treasure hunt. You know, there's not a day goes by that I don't find something that I hadn't seen before, or that is just super interesting, or that we want to do more research on. Mary and I worked on solving riddles this morning. Excuse me. Had a bunch of stuff that had been misidentified in our server, past perfect, and we went through solving this. And we've done that with a lot of things, identifying misidentified items, and just what the heck is it, and where did it come from? You know, so it's a good mystery novel into itself. You know, so.
Great. Well, I know you've been a great help to me too with the Gardner Library project. So
well,
thank you so
you.
much for your time here.
All right. Well, you're more than welcome, and send me some more of those video interviews.
Will do.
I enjoy it.
Bye.
Okay.